This is the Astros Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Houston Astros, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
If there is one thing that is consistent about the Houston Astros so far in 2025, it is this, that they cannot figure out a way to win 2 games in a row. And that trend continued tonight as they fall to the St. Louis Cardinals and get beat up outside of a 3-run shot there in the 9th to pad some stats to not make it a shutout. 8-3 the final on a night where Framber Valdez was absolutely horrible at the plate. Lots of bad in this one. And again, the trend that has happened so often in this early portion of the season continues for the Houston Astros, losing game 1 of this 3-game series tonight in St. Louis. This episode tonight is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. This is the Locked On Astros Postcast. After the games wrap up, I appreciate you guys stopping by. I'm your host, Michael Connor. Make sure you join us after every single Astros game. We will be here tomorrow. Wednesday, I still can't give you a definitive answer yet, but I will let you guys know if we will have a postcast on Wednesday. It's a 12:15 game, middle of the day. You know, real life sometimes gets in the way, and there is a possibility I won't be home in time to get to that game on Wednesday. As long as the result ends up like this or not like this, I'll be okay. And I think what you're walking away from this one talking about more than anything else is...
This is what you'll be talking about.
Mentioned at the top of the show, they cannot find any level of consistency. It's bizarre. Now, again, it's April 14th. They're not playing their way out of, hanging around in the American League West by any means. I mean, the loss tonight puts them at 7-9. I'm trying to get the standings page to update, but for some reason they don't update it that quickly. The Astros are, 2.5 games out in the division, 3 games out in the division. I'm not really too concerned about that at this point. But what I am concerned about is that they just can't seem to put it together for consecutive nights. Now, of course, it does not help when your starting pitcher tonight, Framber Valdez, goes out there and isn't very good. And we'll talk more about Framber here in a minute and why he was so bad in this one. And a little bit of a trend for him to start this season. Not overly concerned by any means for Framber, but like the results for the baseball team so far this season, I think if you were to ask me last season at this stage, if you were to ask me to describe the season in one word, I would have been pissed. In 2025 right now, I would say the word for me, and I guess send your word into the comments there. The Astros are 16 games into the season. What's the one word for you to define this season? I think right now mine is annoyed. Annoyed is the way to go for me because they'll look good one day and then the next day they don't. It is a super, 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 super long season. And you're going to have these stretches. And it's still so darn early. It truly is. But I think it's absolutely worthy of being in a spot where you can be annoyed. Because I think that's what I am. And that is my one word to describe the season so far. I think this word here, Carrie, pathetic, is a little bit aggressive on my end. Pathetic was last season. This isn't pathetic so far. It's just not good. Ridiculous. I think that's a fair word to use. Ridiculous to describe the season to this point because you probably had better expectations. I like this one, mid. That is a great one because they're playing mid baseball. They're hovering right around 500. So again, if you guys want to send in more of your number one word, or your one word, I should say, to describe this season through 16 games. And again, I'm going to emphasize that number, 16. You have to remember that. They've played 16 of 162. Killer Cam there's dumbfounded. You could be dumbfounded too to an extent. I get that. I think I was more dumbfounded last season, early in the year, with how they were playing compared to this season. I kind of expected this team to not. Like I said, I think that this team is going to be a team that's at best 90 wins. And that can win you the division. They can win you the AL West. I think 88, 87 can win the AL West this year. I really do. I don't think it's a good division. Now, I think a lot of things are going to change. There's going to be a lot of injuries. There's going to be a lot of trade deadline acquisitions. You'd think, at least for the team up the road in Arlington, if they have their money situation figured out at all. I would assume the Mariners will shuffle the deck. They don't ever acquire anybody for any money, but they just shuffle the deck all the time because Jerry Dipoto can't sit still for 5 minutes. And we'll see what happens here. So things will change. Teams won't look the same as they do now. But I would just like to do this show where you walk through, a couple of days of doing it where they win. I don't think it's a lot to ask for. Can I just get 2 wins in a row? I haven't even sniffed it, really. And they've, like I said, since they got swept out by the Giants, they've gone win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. That's incredible. That is absolutely incredible. That is a span of 3, 6, 9, 10 games where they've gone win-loss, every single one of them. They played 5-5 baseball over those 10 games. So maybe annoyed is a good one for me. That other one that I showed you there for the one word, mid, is very good. This is also not, it's over. Come on now. We don't have to, I love you guys. We don't have to jump off the bandwagon completely just yet. And we don't have to be completely on the bandwagon. We can be realistic with how things are looked, but we're not doing the season's over on April the 14th. We learned our lesson last year, guys. We can do better than that. It sure would be nice, though, if Framber Valdez was better than he was tonight. It's better than he's been a lot recently. He's had a couple of good starts, and he's had a couple of bad starts. I think that's the other thing that you're walking away from tonight talking about is the fact that Framber Valdez went out there and my nephew titled the show tonight, or did you see the graphics when you start the show, and the title of it is Got the Belt in St. Louis. I think that's a teenager way of describing things these days. And he asked me to put that for the game because he watched it with me and said that. So I did. It was Framber that got the belt. Framber was horrible. And why did Framber stink tonight? I thought it was pretty clear. His curveball was atrocious. It's usually a huge out pitch for him, obviously. It was just getting beat all over the place. Now, St. Louis does have a familiarity with him and Astros pitching because these two teams face each other a ton in spring training, being 10 minutes apart from each other down there in the West Palm, Jupiter area. But I thought Framber's pitch, his curveball looked bad, and the results of it were bad. His season so far, 7 innings, no runs in his first start. Followed that up with 5 innings, 5 runs. Then 6 innings, no runs. 4 innings, 6 runs. 7 runs, 6 of them earned. So, going off his trend and going off the Astros trend, he's going to be great in his next start. That's the only option at this point. Because if there's anything that we know about the Astros so far in 2025, it is that they are one thing, consistent at not being consistent. Or at least consistent. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. We'll get into who's the player of the game tonight. How do you bounce back from this? Where'd those bats go? What happened? Let's talk next. Right now, though, I need to tell you guys about a wonderful snack. Sometimes you're looking for something to chow down on, and you got to be both nutritious and delicious. You can crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. I personally love the no shells variety. It's the grab and go snack for busy days, whether I'm snacking here at this desk on a road trip or just need a quick protein boost. They're always my go-to. And if you love cracking open every shell for that satisfying crunch, the in-shell options are a classic favorite. Get snacking and get cracking with a snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. And one more message before we get back to our Astros discussion tonight on this loss to the St. Louis Cardinals. Have you ever checked your bank account and wondered, where did all my money go? Yeah, we've all been there. Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. Instead of juggling, as I mentioned, all those multiple apps, you can use Monarch Money to check your finances, track that spending, and plan long-term goals. And managing your money with your partner is now smoother than ever. You can track shared accounts and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com. Code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Astros go down in ugly fashion tonight in St. Louis to the Cardinals. This is the Locked On Astros Postcast. Appreciate you guys stopping by and watching tonight. I'm your host, Michael Connor. Thank you, as always, for joining us, even when the Astros lose. I know it's easy to just walk away when they lose because they weren't fun tonight. They weren't enjoyable to watch tonight. It is what it is. Where'd the bats go tonight? I was really disappointed in the... Now, look, they did hit some baseball hard. Baseball's hard on a night where you stink so bad, so poorly. I'm really struggling with this one. When you look as bad as they did at the plate, and overall, they hit a lot of balls hard at people at times. Jordan smoked one. Brendan Rodgers comes in. Looks like he's going to get the Astros on the board. It's an out. That's what happens. But overall, big fat nothing. Altuve's gone into a funk. Paredes was not good tonight. As I mentioned, Jordan hit one hard. Christian Walker had a hit. Man, he's got to find it. He has been so bad as an Astro. Nothing but singles. It's not good. Yainer Diaz, not good so far this year. Pena hits the 3-run jack, but he's not been good. Cam Smith, 0 for night. Dubon in his torpedo bat, 2 knocks. That's good. Chas McCormick needs to get a little bit more burn. Just to see. I've liked his at-bats. He's drawn a lot of walks. I would just like to see him get a little bit more run to see if he's deserving of playing a little bit more. Because here's the facts. The Astros offense, buns. Absolute buns so far this season. They got an OPS under 700. They're well below league average on everything. And guess what? It's not going to happen. You're not going to succeed long-term into this season if you can't be about a league average team at the plate at best. Overall, they're probably going to pitch enough to, go out there and be in most games. But from the approach to the results to sometimes get a little lucky, it has to find consistency. Great Friday night, bad Saturday, awful Sunday, good Sunday, awful Monday. Again, on the trends, tells you that tomorrow will be a great day. Probably score 15 runs tomorrow, to be honest with you. We shall see. Of course, when that game wraps up tomorrow, we'll be live here on the show. As soon as it wraps up, the Cardinals are going to give the ball to Eric Fetty. He's 1-1 with a 4.20. The Astros are going to give it to their ace so far this season. Hunter Brown, 1-1, 2 ERA flat. He will hopefully keep the Cardinals at bay throughout the entire day and or keep them caged so the Astros can go out there and get themselves a victory. So I don't want to talk about another loss, of course. 6:45 first pitch again tomorrow night. Bats got to show up. Pitching's going to have to do more, clearly. And then you can find your way to a victory. As always, thank you guys for stopping by and watching the show live. Make sure you come on back. Watch us again tomorrow night after Astros and Cardinals on the Locked On Astros Postcast.